On the news tonight, former governors Wike, Umahi, and El Rufai, 25 others, make Tinubu's ministerial list. Court strikes out DSS suit to keep Emefiele in detention. And 2 killed as NDLEA officers raid Lagos community. Hello and welcome to News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. The long-awaited ministerial list is finally out, and earlier speculations that some former governors made the court have been confirmed. During plenary on Thursday, the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, presented the list to the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, at exactly 1:19 p.m. Akpabio thereafter read the ministerial list with 28 nominees. Prominent among the nominees are former governors Nyesom Wike, Nasser El Rufai, David Umahi, and Badaru Abubakar, while the likes of acting APC Chairman Abba Kyari, Senator John Eno, Honorable Nkiru Onyejiocha, and Dele Alake also made the list. Akpabio said the list, according to the letter, is not exhaustive, as more nominees will be sent to the Senate for confirmation in due course.
Requests for confirmation of ministerial nominees. In compliance with the provisions of Section 147, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I am pleased to forward to the Senate for confirmation the underlisted 28 ministerial nominees. Dr. Doris Anite Uzoka. 8. His Excellency David Umahi. 9. His Excellency Ezenwa Nyesom Wike. 10. His Excellency Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, CON. His Excellency Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, CON. 11. His Excellency Nasir Ahmed El Rufai.
Jide Ojo, who is a political affairs analyst, joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us today. Now, I'm sure you must have made some guesses as to who would make the ministerial list, but what were your first impressions?
Okay, first and foremost, I want to say finally, the waiting game is over. 58 days it has taken the president, who promised to hit the ground running, to come up with a list of 28 ministerial nominees. We should thank the 9th National Assembly for actually putting that timeline for governors and for governors to come up with their list of commissioners and for president to come up with list of cabinet members. Otherwise, I'm sure perhaps the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will have taken much longer to come up with his list, because I don't think it does his image. The optics is not good for him that after 58 days, he's coming up with half of the list or a batch of the list of 28, when constitutionally speaking, is mandated to appoint a minimum of 37, 36 states and FCT. But he has come up with the list, so the speculation is over. All the fake lists that have been in circulation now have been laid to rest. But yes, we have mixed grill, former governors, those who lost elections, more or less a compensatory list, if you get my drift. Those who work for the president are now reaping the benefit. And I asked myself, when he knew he was going to appoint some of the special advisors and some of the governors as ministers, why did he first nominate them as special advisors, we have Wale Edo and Dele Alaki. The president should have just nominated someone else as his special advisors while he keeps their list names for the ministerial list. Then you see someone like Dave Umahi, who has won election, became the chairman, a senator, has been inaugurated. He's even one of the principal officers of the Senate. Now he has to vacate that seat to pick up a ministerial appointment. We also have the chairman of APC, acting chairman of APC, Abba Kyari, who came, who got into the office barely a week ago, who will have to vacate that seat to also take up his ministerial appointment. But all said and done, there are 7 women on that list of 28, which is significant, given the fact that in the entire cabinet of Muhammadu Buhari, there were just 6 or 7 too. But at least for what is president of the Senate read, this is not the entire list. Another list is expected.
And sorry to interrupt you there. Speaking of another list now, that's the complete list. Should we expect more technocrats?
What do you mean by technocrats? As far as I'm concerned, somebody can wear several caps. I, for one, I'm an author, I'm a consultant, I'm also a columnist, I'm also, a public affairs analyst. So someone can wear multiple caps. Engineer Dave Umahi is a professional engineer, certified engineer, but he's a politician. And you can't say he's not a technocrat. You have Lateef Fagbemi, who has won several legal battles for Asiwaju, being compensated with a ministerial list. It's not only people who study science and technology that are technocrats. You have someone who was a former deputy governor of Central Bank. That's the Oyo State nominee, Adebayo Adelabu Waheed. He's a banker of note. We have someone like Wale Edo, former commissioner in Lagos State.
So basically what you're saying is we have a good mixture of politicians and who are also professionals in their chosen field. So we should, expect a good job from them. Well, that's still left to be seen, but we need to end the conversation now, possibly have more discussion on this. But Jide Ojo, political affairs analyst, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. Well, a Federal Capital Territory High Court sitting in Abuja has dismissed an application filed by the Department of State Services, DSS, seeking a 14-day extended detention of the embattled Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele. The DSS based its application on purported new evidence it had discovered. Justice Hamza Moza dismissed the application, citing it as an abuse of court process and identifying the lack of jurisdiction. The request by the DSS followed Emefiele's rearrest by the agency from the court premises in Lagos after the court had ordered his remand in a correctional center while awaiting the fulfillment of his bail conditions. Well, still in Lagos, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have allegedly shot dead 2 persons in the Idioro area of Mushin, Lagos State. According to reports, the NDLEA operatives stormed the community around 10 p.m. on Wednesday to raid a drug den when they started shooting sporadically in a bid to achieve their aim. The operation was said to have lasted 4 hours. The NDLEA officers later left the community with bags of substances suspected to be cannabis sativa, also known as Indian hemp. The Nigerian Senate has condemned the Monday sit-at-home in the southeast geopolitical zone. The Red Chamber has also asked the federal government to collaborate with the Finnish government to extradite a pro-Biafran agitator Simon Ekpa for prosecution. The illegal sit-at-home order is said to have been enforced by a faction of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra IPOB in 5 southeast states, Anambra, Enugu, Imo, Abia and Ebonyi, to press home demands for the release of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, who is being detained by the Department of State Services, DSS, and prosecuted for terrorism-related charges. During plenary, the Red Chamber, presided over by President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, resolved to invite the Minister of Foreign Affairs and relevant stakeholders to carry out a thorough investigation as well as bring other sponsors of the act to book.
The Senate is aware that thousands of innocent lives have been lost since this action of sit-at-home in the Southeast started, and properties worth over $1 trillion have been destroyed, which has resulted in investors leaving the region. Further aware that the sit-at-home civil disobedience action in the Southeast has led to the disruption, vandalization, disruption of economic activities, as well as immeasurable financial losses for businesses, workers, and the total economy of the Southeast. Mr. President, the Senate is worried that if the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is issuing the illegal sit-at-home order, is not checked, he may succeed in corrupting the minds of Nigerian youths and turning them against the government.
Condemn the sit-at-home in totality, as well as the nefarious activities of one Simon Ekpa, the gang leader. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2. Urge the federal government of Nigeria to collaborate with the Finnish government with a view to extraditing the said Simon Ekpa for possible prosecution. Those in favor of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Worried by the quality of education in Nigeria and lack of standard data on profiles of teachers, the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, in collaboration with Nigerian government, has launched the Teacher Management Information System, TMIS. According to the Chief of Education, UNICEF, Sadhna Pandey, the application, which will be in use in the 8 states in the country, will help track the movement of teachers across states and deploy them to where they are most needed. Our correspondent, Emeka Amako, filed in this report from Abuja.
Improving learning outcomes for children by equipping educators with the proper teaching and learning tools is the focus of this gathering. To this end, the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Education, has developed a teacher management information system to strengthen the recruitment, deployment, and management of the performance of teachers in Nigeria.
Utilizing this platform will help us greatly in improving the quality of the teachers we have, improving the delivery in the classroom, and manage the need in our schools, and invariably learning outcomes, improving learning outcomes in Nigeria. So it is on us, beyond the 8 states, on all of us to run with this opportunity that UNICEF has given to us.
In his presentation, which captures an overview of the Teacher Management Information System, the UNICEF Education Manager, Jutaro Sakamoto, says Nigeria needs to employ and retain more qualified teachers to improve learning outcomes in the country.
In Nigeria, about 30% teachers in pre-primary and primary education and 40% of junior secondary school teachers are unqualified. And if we look at the pupil qualified teacher ratio in the graph on the right, you see the ratio increased, for example, 47 in the primary school, which is quite high.
What we see across the country is very varying levels of pupil-teacher ratios. So in some schools, it's 1 teacher to 10 learners. In other states, it's 1 teacher to 262 learners. This is a significant problem because very little learning can take place when you have such a large class size. So this is telling us that we have a problem with the deployment of teachers to get the right teacher in the right classroom at the right time.
Other stakeholders believe parts of the benefits of the Teacher Management Information System is that it helps in the management of instructional time in the classroom.
Our staff are not attending schools. Staff are not even doing what they're supposed to do. But if they know there is this kind of system in place, that somewhere someone is checking them, even without coming down to the school, they will be able to address a lot of issues.
Sometimes, again, you find that there are names that are duplicates. And the tendency is that for that person to be able to remove that name, thinking that because he's using Excel, so the name will come up. So you'll be thinking that he's repeating the same thing because of pressure, because of tiredness, and things like that. So, but with this team, it's going to eliminate everything.
The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development sets an ambitious target to provide inclusive and quality education for all. However, lack of national and subnational continuous professional development plan for teachers impedes efforts towards the achievement of quality education for all children.
We'll take a break here, but still to come on News Now. Captive President Bazoum defiant after takeover as Niger's soldiers warn against foreign intervention. We bring you details of this story and more right after this break. Welcome back. A recap now of some of our top stories tonight. The long-awaited ministerial list is finally out, and earlier speculations that some former governors made the court have been confirmed. Prominent among the nominees are governors Nyesom Wike, Nasser El-Rufai, David Umahi and Badaro Abubakar, while the likes of acting APC Chairman Abba Kyari, Senator John Eno, and Honorable Nkiru Onyejocha and Dele Alaki also made the list. We also told you that a Federal Capital Territory High Court sitting in Abuja has dismissed an application filed by the Department of State Services DSS seeking a 14-day extended detention of the embattled Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele. The request by the DSS follows Emefiele's rearrest by the agency from the court premises in Lagos after the court had ordered his remand in a correctional center while awaiting the fulfillment of his bail conditions. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. Two of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, so...
Oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no. You don't need to do this. We are only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Which came out with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world. A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Simi Saladigun has more stories for us in business. Over to you, Simi.
Thank you very much, Falashade. Welcome to Business News. Economists have faulted the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, over its decision to increase the benchmark interest rate by 25 basis points to 18.75%. The acting CBN Governor, Folashodun Shonubi, announced this while reading the communique of the 4th MPC meeting of the year on Tuesday. Addressing journalists at the end of the two-day meeting in Abuja, Shonubi said while the committee had voted to adjust the asymmetric corridor around the MPR, it retained the cash reserve ratio at 32.5%. There are more details in this report. The 292nd MPC meeting of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is the first without the presence of its suspended governor, Godwin Emefiele. In the first decision of the Monetary Committee since President Bola Tinubu's assumption of office on May 29, 2023, the CBN has raised the monetary policy rate MPR, which measures interest rate from 18.5% to 18.75%. Announcing this after the MPC meeting in Abuja on Tuesday, the acting CBN Governor Folashodun Shonubi said hiking the interest rate has made a lot of difference in moderating the rate of inflation in the country.
One of the key challenges now was the liquidity overhang, and we needed to look at the various tools we had. As a matter of fact, in the communique, you would have noticed that we made reference to that same fact. So in addition to interest rate hikes, we've also come up with various ways to tighten the liquidity, because we believe that if the liquidity surfeit actually runs across not just inflation, but also has some impact on the exchange rate and other parts of the economy.
Speaking on the widening gap between the official I&E window and the parallel market rate, Shonubi said the CBN is not trying to unify any rates.
We believe that we need to encourage the markets to be more efficient and to be more effective, and that takes a bit of time. Some of the volatility you've seen over the period has been driven by that same fact that the market needs to find its level.
Nigeria's headline inflation surged to 22.79% in June 2023, which is the highest rate since September 2005. This is despite multiple interest rate hikes by the CBN in the last 14 months. Economic experts say, contrary to the CBN's claim, the constant increase in the MPR has had no positive impact on reducing inflation in Nigeria.
The inflation rate grew from 21% to 22.79%. Inflation rate was not arrested. And coupled with the current policies of the government, the regulation of the petroleum sector, removal of subsidy, and floating of exchange rate, we find that the inflation rate has gone up to as high as 22.79%. So tightening the economy at this moment, at this point in time, might not help
do not see these factors like trying to change the dynamics in the market, because when you look at everything that is happening, the 50 to 25 basis point hike, as I've said before, is minimal, and it might not really the market has priced it in already, so it might not really have any impact in the economy.
The economist, however, suggests a reduction of the interest rate, which will allow free flow of cash in the country for investment purposes.
They should review those parameters and see how they can reduce them to a level that will allow, funds to flow in the economy and to allow entrepreneurs to have access to investment funds.
The CBN also reaffirmed its commitment to gradually phase out the old 200, 500 and 1,000 naira notes while issuing new currencies. Shonobi added that the CBN's approach is focused on maintaining an optimal level of currency circulation and ensuring a seamless replacement process without causing disruptions to the financial system. Simisola Adigun, TV360. We'll take a short break now and return with a stock market report. Stay with us. Nigeria's equities markets moved further south on Thursday by 0.31%, the second time this week, losing about 111 billion naira at the close of trading. The equities market's positive return year-to-date also stood lower at plus 27.77%. Now, the NGX All-Share Index and equities market capitalization also decreased to 65482 basis points and 35.6 trillion naira respectively. On the sell side of Thursday's trading is Japo Gold, which dropped from 1 naira, losing 11 kobo, followed by Cardbray Nigeria. Now, Thursday's actively traded stocks had investors exchange over 5 billion shares worth 4.7 billion naira in 8,070 deals. Now, for our select foreign stocks, that's the FTSE, the Dow Jones and Nikkei, trade ended in green as world shares hit a 15-month high as the Federal Reserve delivered another widely expected interest rate increase. Well, that's all on the stock market. Back to you, Folashade.
Well, many thanks, Simisala, for that update. And now on the foreign scene, Niger's President Mohamed Bazoum has issued a defiant message on Twitter after soldiers announced a coup overnight in the West African nation. His foreign minister has also said the takeover does not have the backing of the whole military, but the army chief has now said he backs the junta. Trouble began early on Wednesday when troops from the Presidential Guard took him captive. While the U.S. and France have condemned the coup, the soldiers involved in the coup happening in the Niger Republic have warned against foreign intervention in the country's political situation. And now to sport, the Super Falcons on Thursday defeated Australia 3-2 at the Brisbane Stadium. This is the first win of Nigeria in the competition and the fifth win in the history of the Women's World Cup. With the win, the Super Falcons' chance of reaching the round of 16 have been boosted after Canada secured a 2-1 victory against Ireland on Wednesday. In their opening match at the tournament, the Falcons displayed defensive prowess, including goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie serving a penalty to secure a commendable point. Well, earlier I spoke to Itoro Jimmy, who is a sports journalist, and I began by asking her what she makes of the Super Falcons' performance.
Being the co-host nation in this World Cup, Australia had the upper hand going into this game, like I said, but the Super Falcons of Nigeria will tell you they actually put up a good fight, a very, very good fight. Yes, they considered a goal first, but the equalizing goal from Kanu in the first half, I would say, gave the team a great boost going into the second half, where we still got a goal from Ohale and, of course, Asisa Toshoala as well, making it 3-2 at the end of the day. So I would say the Super Falcons had a very fantastic game and a well-deserved win.
Well, that was sports journalist Itoro Jimmy sharing her thoughts with us on the match between Super Falcons of Nigeria and Australia. And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.